Act 1 Middle School, Chapter 6. Don't forget to leave a vote/like on the chapter. It keeps me motivated. 7 minutes later, staring intensely at my phone as I sprint, my chi quirk is acting up the longer these emotions run rampant inside me. The same feeling I felt that night, the dreadful night, is beginning to fill throughout my body again. A shot blast of orange aura flickers around my body, and flaming eyes ignite for a brief moment inside my pupils. I continue to sprint at 18 miles per hour across the city. I'm here, Mom. Please, please still be here. Help is on the way, Mom. Skidding around a corner, finding myself in front of a massive, seemingly uncompleted construction building, shaping up into an office building of some kind. 20 floors high. My phone tells me Mom's phone is here, and it's starting to move. I can see from all the way down here blood spatters across a window in floor 16. I don't know what comes over me. How the hell did I even know I could do this? Chi flows from my body outwards in the form of an orange aura and spirals around my center mass before distributing across my feet. My speed picked up a little bit. 20 miles per hour. I barge through glass doors. I don't even open them. I run through them, destroying them, arriving at a set of elevators. I click and click. I don't see stairs. Right. Are there stairs? I look around impatiently for stairs. I can't find them. The elevator's taking too long. Mom's in danger, damn it. I hear Tiger's words to me when I was little echo in my ear. And yet in the moment, I don't care. These permits grant regular civilians the pass to use their quirks to fight villains and assist in times of emergency on both private and public property. But those who do such things without one are breaking the law and considered criminals or vigilantes. Then call me a criminal. My mom is in danger, damn it. I shout at myself, grabbing the doors to the elevator shaft and, with my father's strength enhancer quirk, literally shearing the damn things off, tossing them behind me out the glass doors, which have been destroyed prior they fall and crash into the street. I don't think, only act. Body is moving on its own now. Tears of fear pissing out my eyes as I think and fear the worst. I'm too late. I just can't shake the feeling. I'm too late. Jumping into the incredibly deep labyrinth called an elevator shaft. Jumping off the wall and repeating this action. You'd have thought Nagant trained me to do such things. But in the moment, it's an odd sense of instinct. I've never done this before, but I was doing it flawlessly. Counting each floor door, I passed till I reached the floor. I saw blood. Gritting my teeth, folding back my right arm as I created deep structurally degrading cracks in the walls of the elevator shaft, launching myself legs first into the metal doors leading into the room. Kicking straight into and knocking the doors OFF violently into the room. They fire off in two directions, bursting through the windows and falling stories down onto the streets below. My mother's right arm, her rifle I've inherited fully extended at the ready as I barged into the room, filled with blood, bodies, craters, and other forms of destruction. A man with white hair, dragging my mother into a silver liquid portal, is the sight I enter to. My voice speaks in two different voices. One my younger days, 3-year-old self, and the other of my current 14-year-old self-demanding and plead. Let my mama go. I fire off 3 shots, in anger with the intent to kill. He began to spin around, lifting my mother's burnt up and cracked apart body into the path of the bullets. Doing so swiftly. Ah, I see you sent a desperate message to your son. How ignorant. The man spoke. My mother hadn't taught me how to wall jump, but she did teach me how to do this. I think to myself, as the bullets bend in the air, changing direction. Bullet 1 had a completely block flat tip, causing it to slow down swiftly, knocking the second bullet off course to the left. The third bullet was better shaped, and made with a better point, maintains speed better than the other, but is slightly curved at the blunt end. It curves and hits the back into the second bullet that it caught up with, knocking it back on track to hit the man. 3 bullets fired, one on target. He didn't expect it, and the bullet pierces straight in through his shoulder, exiting out the bottom side of his stomach. I land in a tumble, before finding my footing, sprinting towards them as he stumbled back atop the floor, coughing up his own blood. I hit a lung and many other important organs. But importantly, he dropped Mom. I swiftly found myself at my mother's side. "Mama!" I screamed out in horror, swiftly crashing atop a knee, trying to lift my mother off the ground. In the moment, I seemed so fearful I'd lost her that I sorta reduced from my big boy pants to a little child in the moment. Terrified, more than I've ever been my entire life. "And Mama, get up. MOM, get UPPP. You have to." I plead and beg. The man growled out in anger, turning and reaching out for us as he spoke. "Ignorant child. It's pathetic how much you're able to resist." He reached out, grabbing for my face. I refused to leave my mother behind and take a moment to lift her into my arms before I actually attempt to flee. In that moment alone, he lays his hand atop my face, and red aura seems to leave my face into his hand. One moment later, I lunge back across the ground, using Father's strength to put as much distance as I could, accidentally using too much strength, back first bashing against the wall. As he began to stand up, I reached beneath my arm, tossing Rumi's bat at him from across the room, getting a clean hit to his head with it. It dinked as metal does off his head and spun as it rolled out a busted window, falling to the ground below. I struggle for a moment, finding better hold of my mother as I adjust myself. It's now I notice an orange aura seem to begin emitting from his body. Like how I can't feel people's emotions anymore. Wait, I can't feel my chi either. Visually for a moment, I began to panic and look over my own arms as I continue holding my mother. That's correct. You're noticing now, aren't you? I possess the ability to take and give quirks. However, I'm pleased at the touch of my palm, and I've just taken your quirk. Any moment now you'll lose all those quirks you've managed to stockpile from pure affinity alone. Quite the powerful quirk you had, kid. I'll be sure to put to good use. He taunts as he stood up, as though he wasn't just. How is he standing after that shot? That should have. His wounds are gone. He begins to approach as I growl and snarl, as I hug my mother's out cold, barely living body against me with my left arm. Raising my right arm, Mom's right arm is still with me, because a gun protrudes out my arm and fires off a shot at him. He expressed a sense of startle to the fact, narrowly ducking the shot. I fire again. He narrowly weaves. "How are you, Dash?" Interrupting him as I began crab walking up against the wall towards the destroyed elevator doors. In the moment, smoke of red aura, the color of his aura when he stole my quirk, emits from my arms and leg muscle fibers and from my gun arm, barrel, and weapon muscles that came with the gun quirk, along with smoke emitting from my eyeballs and epoxy hair. You can steal all you want, Dash. My eyes, once brown, for some unexplainable reason begin to emit purple smoke, and the brown turns to the same shade of purple as my mother Nagant. My hair, as outlined with my true hair color of black. But that outline begins to melt off my hair, and instead in its place Nagant hair coloring cements itself, bleaching itself as my new hair color in a sense. Purple smoke emits from where quirks like the quirk enhancing quirk of my father, which amplify the muscle fibers, and the muscles and joints that make up Nagant's rifle quirk in my right arm, where smoke of the quirk stealing Verity was emitting, an indication of my body rejecting his attempt to take these two quirks from me. But the quirk I lost was what made it possible to use them in the first place. But you can never take what my mother gave to me. Never. Perhaps I was wrong, he admits as he picked up his pace to a speed walk. It's not your quirk to Taki. I boomed enraged, holding on to the fleeing feelings that allowed me to keep this one quirk. I won't let him take it from me, not until I see Mom safe. My eyes go wild with fear as I fire off shot after shot after shot, each missing, each shot a sign of defiance to his quirk's attempt to rip away the last embers of my quirk he had stolen from me, which gave me this right to copy and use my mother's gun arm quirk. He dodges them all, even the ones that arc, and turned as they moved to catch him off guard. He knew what was up now, what he was dealing with. The doctor would love to experiment and see what it is that's manifested inside of you. He continued as my eyes widened in a wild, Smile grew across my face. Finally, I reached the doors and I fall backwards into a trust fall into the elevator shaft. A red and black glowing spike like quirk that tracked us chased from out his back after us. I swiftly reached up with a hand I had around Mom and twisted her epoxy hair into bullets. I couldn't release her to grab my own and awkwardly load the crispy, burn-up epoxy bullets into my palm, thus loading my gun. Firing off shot after the chasing spikes of doom. I glanced back over my back as we neared an elevator that was still descending towards the bottom floor. The very one I had called by button earlier, destroying the last of the spikes chasing us. I crashed back first through the see-through glass ceiling of the elevator and back first crashed atop the metal floor of the elevator, and my eyes flicker silver and purple both ways dilated and shrunk with a sense of pain. My mother's body weight, sort of gut, checked me on landing. She couldn't have helped it, of course. 30 seconds and 9 floors go by, and the elevator dings. The doors swing open as I struggle and roll out of the elevator, dragging Mom out the elevator as I did. Police who had been alerted earlier by a concerned citizen over blood being on windows above were walking into the lobby when the door began to close behind us. I struggle off the ground, lifting my mother as I pleaded with them. I didn't notice that 2 people were behind the police who'd chased and followed after me. Rumi and you peering around the destroyed doorway in at the terrible sight. Help! Help her! She's barely hanging on. She needs a doctor. I boomed in demand and plead. My God, is that Lady Nagant? One of the officers spoke in disturbance to her mangled body. The others rushing to me, one lifting her from my arms. Someone, give me a squad car. I'm rushing her to the hospital. She's in bad condition. He shouts, racing towards the doorway out as I stumbled after him. I'm coming too. You've done enough. Leave this to us, no dash. Interrupting the officer, crying with tears in my eyes, spilling without a hint of stopping. I'm coming with you. This might be the last chance I ever get. I admit, following him, they can easily recognize that my hair matches her own. It's clear and obvious I'm related to her. All right, well, keep pace. He caves in. I race close behind him, not noticing as we sprint out of the building towards the nearest squad car. Rumi, or are you standing out on the sidewalk? Both watching with a look of worry and concern. The next morning, holding Mom's hand as I rest my head over her stomach, leaning over the hospital bed as I lay restlessly, calmly staring at Mom with partially closed eyes as she rested. Gently stroking the top of her hand with a thumb as I listened to the heart monitor beep at 40 beats a minute. It's slow, but she's alive. Kaido, Auntie Mandalay murmured in a worried tone, watching me stress and worry. I didn't sleep. Period last night. It's catching up with me. But I refused to sleep. Pixie Bob reached over, gently rubbing my back, tried her best to comfort me physically. Finally, I spoke to them. They'd arrived not an hour after we got here yesterday. But I held my silence, gathering my thoughts. The face of that white-haired man flashes in my mind. His evil smile as he approached. And then the moment he took, or tried to take my quirk, he stole my quirk, I admit aloud. Tiger's eyebrow raised. Stole your quirk? But your right arm is still producing a gun arm. He announced the obvious. My eyes, purple, but with red glow in the pupils of a Terminator in a sense, as I began to sit up and looked over towards him, speaking in a serious tone, finally releasing my mother's hand. Serious as a heart attack, explaining, because my will to keep it was stronger than his. I refused to let him take it. I bring my left hand in front of my face and focus hard, really hard. My chi quirk is completely gone. I can no longer sense the malice or deception or even the emotions of others. Where AFO got the quirk that lets him know people's intentions even over the phone. I tisk, turning my hand into a fist, clenching it tight enough you could hear the muscle fibers in my arm straining beneath the grips. He stole my chi quirk, my ability to stockpile quirks based upon affinity. I can't sense myself anymore. And I can't feel anyone's emotion or intentions anymore. He really did take my quirk. But somehow, I didn't lose the strength enhancer or gun. Quirk names, why? I'm scared they'll vanish after the 24-hour mark, like they usually do until I reactivate them. But I guess I'll find out at 4:30. I admit, lower my arm. I spoke in a more worried tone. T-Tiger, can you come with me when I give my statement at the station today? I may have shot the bad guy yesterday when trying to save Mom. Mandalay and Pixie Bob express startlement to my admitting of such a damning thing. Shot him. Is he dead? Ragdoll asked worriedly. I shook my head. No, he immediately healed. And that's when he took my quirk. I let my guard down. I admit, as I stood up from my seat. Tiger spoke in a rather understandable tone. You know, it's not okay for anyone without a license to use their quirks to cause harm, Kaido. Especially if you're trying to mortally wound someone. You're lucky he had a healing quirk or dash, interrupting Tiger. Nagant, Moem spoke in a mumble in her slumber. It was A all for one. He wanted. He wanted Kaido. He knew. He knew his real name. Her heart rate monitor sped up to 60 beats during the moment. Before reducing back to 40, she passed out again. She's been fading in and out all night long. I stare over at her, silent as I was. Everyone went silent having heard that. I didn't know this all for one guy, but I knew one thing. He won't get away with what he's done. My convictions to become a hero. Double that day. I must become one, and I must be the one who takes him down. End of chapter 6.
Talk about being fucking motherfucking cringe!